Hi, and thanks for joining me for this little yoga practice wherever you are and whatever time it is. As always with this practice, I want you to remember that you're trying to find the balance between effort and ease. So doing enough to keep the body working and the mind steady, but gentle enough that the breath remains calm throughout the practice, and ideally breathing just through your nose. Of course, if anything doesn't feel good for you, you can skip it. You can just rest in child's pose or down dog. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments and I'll get back to you. And of course, if you like the class, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. So, with all that said, just start in a comfortable cross-legged position, whichever leg in front doesn't matter. And I just want you to take a few moments just to place your hands palms down on your knees, close your eyes, and just take a couple of slow breaths. As you breathe in, try to lift up through the crown of your head, and as you breathe out, just see if you can relax anywhere where you're feeling that there's unnecessary tension. So especially around your eyes, your mouth, your jaw. Just let the breath start to draw your attention within. So you're letting go of the outside world and paying attention to the inner. After breathing out once more, just reach your arms up high, stretch up to the fingers. And as you breathe out, fold your body forward, keeping the hands a good shoulder width apart. And once you're folded forward, give your body a gentle sway from side to side. And keep a sense of the collarbones moving forward and the shoulder blades moving away from each other. Take one more calm breath here. And after breathing out, gently sit back up. Stretch up high to your hands. And then lowering the hands down, swap the legs the other way. So you can either just lean back or you can pick up the legs and swap them in midair. Try to do about the same position on the second side. Reach up into your fingers once more. And as you breathe out, just gently let the body fold forward, just acknowledging the difference in the two sides of the posture. Again, you can bring a little movement into that gentle forward stretch. You might like to give your head a little roll side to side, softening around the neck. Or that's one of the places where we carry tension. Gently exhale once more here. And after breathing out, sit back up. Reach the arms high once more, stretching all the way through the sides of the body. And then gently bring your arms down. If you picked up the hips on the first side, try and pick them up on the second side. And then make your way into a simple kneeling plank. Make sure you've got your fingertips gripping down, the knees just a little behind the hips. Then start to take some circular cat stretches. Just moving the spine a bit like a skipping rope, where the head and the tailbone are the two ends that don't really move. In the middle of the spine is moving as much as you can in all those different directions around the circle. Changing direction, go back the other way. Try to keep this movement nice and smooth and fluid. And from here, make your way back to a symmetrical position once more. And if it's okay for you, lift up onto your fists. So it's a different way to work with and strengthen the wrists. You can stay in kneeling plank if you'd like, but ideally take full plank. So the head's moving forward, but the heels are moving back. And if you're comfortable there, you might like to drop the heels to the right, but then see if you can shift the weight into the left hand, which will work the side of the body a little differently. On your next in-breath, come back to the center if you're in the twist. And as you breathe out, drop the heels to the left, but shift the weight into the right hand. Again, take one more breath in here. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. On your next in-breath, return to plank, and then press back into down face dog, remembering you can take child's pose as an easier alternative to down dog. Once you're in down dog, let the head drop down, roll your shoulders wide. Gently press the chest back towards the feet. You
might like to stay static, or you might like to just lift one hip at a time and see if you can find a little bit more length through the sides of the body. Remember to keep your face relaxed and the breath steady through the nose. And settle yourself back into a static down dog for 1 or 2 more breaths, keeping the feet parallel. And after exhaling once more, just gently step to the front of the mat and let your upper body hang forward. Remember, you can bend your knees if you're tight in the backs of the legs. You want to make sure that there's no pressure in the lower back. If you're comfortable, hold opposite elbows and take a little sway side to side. And then press your hips forward and stand all the way up. Reach up into your fingertips and then interlacing the fingers, press up through the palms. Lift up onto the toes as you take another breath in. And then lower your heels and bring the hands gently down. And step your feet together at the front of your mat. Just make sure the shoulders are down and back and you're lifting up through the collarbones and crown. Exhale all the way here. And then with backs of hands together, stretch the wrists up, maybe looking up if it feels okay. And as you breathe out, fold the body forward, taking the fingers to the shins or the floor. Lifting the collarbones forward, lengthen from the navel to the throat as you inhale. Then with hands to the mat, make your way lightly back into downward facing dog. You can rest there or in child's pose or move forward to plank. And from there smoothly lower to the stomach or the push-up. You might just lift chest and hands, maybe the feet, or lift to up dog as you breathe in. And then make your way smoothly back into your version of downward facing dog. Holding down dog for a breath or two, roll your shoulders wide, creating space across the upper back. And on your next in-breath, raise the heels and look forward. Bring the feet lightly to the hands. You can walk, step or float. Now pressing your hips forward, stand up. Reach the arms high and again inhale. Keeping the arms raised, now bend into the knees, coming into the half squat. As you breathe in once more, pull the elbows back, but press the knees forward and the heels down. And then fold the body forward into Uttanasana, ribs and thighs together, and exhale. Lifting the collarbones forwards, take another smooth breath in. And then step your left foot back to a lunge. You can have the knee up or down, it's your choice. Bring the body up high, stretching up to the fingers as you breathe in. And keep the arms raised, but sink a little deeper into the front knee as you exhale. Take one more breath here. You can look up if your balance is good. Then taking the hands gently down, fold over the right leg, keeping ribs and thigh together. As you inhale, bend the right knee. And then step lightly back into down dog and exhale there. From down dog, rest or move forward to your plank. And then smoothly lower down to knees or stomach or push up. Again, maybe just lift chest and hands, maybe feet, maybe take up dog. And then press back into down dog, using a push up if you want to make it a little stronger. Hold down dog for 1 or 2 breaths. Lift up through the hips, but press down through the heels. And raising your heels, look forwards and breathe in. And bring the feet to the hands and calmly breathe out. Stand all the way up. Reach the arms high as you breathe in. And bring the hands down by the sides of the body as you breathe out. Bending your knees, come into Utkatasana, reach the arms up high. And again, sink a little deeper, so moving into the squat from the low position. Take another breath in here, reaching the arms high, and then fold the body forward and breathe out. Lift the collarbones forward, shoulders back as you breathe in, and this time step your right foot back into a long lunge. Bring your body up high, reaching up to the fingertips. Keep reaching to the hands, but drop down through the hips, keeping the back legs strong and straight. Take another smooth breath in, look up if your balance is good. And then take the hands to the mat and gently fold over the left leg. As you breathe in, bend your left knee once more and try to pick up the left foot and step silently back to downward facing dog. Rest or move forward to plank. And from there, smoothly lower the body down. Take your version of up dog as you breathe in. And then again, make your way back into down dog. If you're using the push-up, lift chest and hips at the same time. Hold for a breath or two. Relax the shoulders, the face and the jaw. And raising your heels, look forwards and breathe in. And bring the feet to the hands and calmly exhale. From there, stand up. Reach the arms high, stretching to the hands. And bring the arms once more down by the sides of the body. And again, bending your knees, stretch up to the fingertips. Now turn to your right, either left hand outside the knee or left elbow outside the right knee. On your next in-breath, come back to the centre, reaching up to the hands. And then turn to the left as you breathe out, keeping the head centred in line with the toes. Come back to the centre as you inhale, stretching up through the hands, press through the heels. And fold forward into Uttanasana, the forward fold or forward bend. Lifting your collarbones forwards, take a breath in. And then take your hands to the mat and make your way back into downward facing dog once more. From down dog, reach the right leg up, but press the left heel down. And then step your right foot silently forward between the hands. Stand up in your lunge, reach through to the fingertips. And as you breathe out, just pull the elbows wide like you're making cactus arms. Stretch across the collarbones. Raise the arms once more, look up if it feels okay. And then take your hands gently down and fold over the right leg as you breathe out. Now bend your right knee looking forwards and pick up the foot and make your way back into downward facing dog. Rest or move forward into plank. And from there, smoothly lower the body down. Take your version of up dog as you breathe in. And either stay where you are or go a little further as you breathe out. Taking another breath in, lengthen toes to throat, pull the shoulders back. And then with your knees and nose to the mat, glide back through moving cobra into child's pose and exhale. Much trickier than it looks. As you inhale, keep the knees bent and lift the hips. And as you exhale, press the heels back to the mat. Settle here for a breath or two. See if you can press the chest gently back towards the feet. And on your next in-breath, keep the right heel down as you stretch up and back to the left foot. And then step the foot forward between the hands into a long lunge. Stand up, reach to the fingertips. And as you breathe out, pull the elbows wide and sink down through the hips. Again, press the back foot down, reach the arms up. Try and press into your right heel. And then take the hands down, and as you exhale, fold gently over your left leg, keeping the hips fairly level. Bend your left knee as you breathe in. And picking up your foot, step back into downward facing dog. Rest or move forward to your version of plank. And as you lower down, remember it's not a race. Try to move slowly and with control. Inhale to your version of up dog. And hold there or go a little further as you breathe out. Take one more breath in, find length and width in the front of the body. And then knees and nose to the mat. Glide back into child's pose. As you inhale, lift the hips. And breathing out, press the heels to the mat, returning to down face dog. And just hang out here for a couple of breaths. Check in with how you're feeling after the first few minutes of movement. Keep lengthening hands to hips and hips to heels. Let the weight of the head gently traction the neck. And on your next in-breath, raising the heels, look forwards and bring the feet to the hands and calmly exhale. stand all the way up. Reach to the fingertips as you breathe in. Stretch back a little if it feels okay. And bring the hands gently down in front of the heart. Rest for a breath or two, maybe rolling the shoulders down and back. And after breathing out, step your left foot back and come into triangle posture, Trikonasana. Remembering here to keep your body in line with the feet. So it's really not important how far your hand comes down the leg. Sometimes it's better to stay with the hand up higher, but the body more in line with the feet. Look up if your balance is good. And just take one more breath here. Stretch all the way through the fingertips. After breathing out, bring your left hand down, bend the front knee if you need to, and just shuffle your left foot a little out to the side. Take your right hand to the back of the hips, check that they're fairly level. And then let your body fold over the right leg. You can bend the right knee here if you need to, or you can stay up a bit higher. Whatever you do, try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. And keep pressing into the front toes and back heel. After your next calm out breath, take the left hand to the shin or the foot, take the right hand to the hips again and check that they're still level, and then see if you can reach the right arm high in the revolving triangle. So I like having the left hand on the shin or the foot, that way it forces you to work with your sense of balance a little bit more. Take one more breath, reaching all the way out to the right hand to turn the shoulders. And after breathing out, try to keep your right leg strong and straight, and either with hands to hips, easy, hands to heart, intermediate, or arms forward, stand up without bending the right knee. Then take hold of your left wrist as you breathe in, and as you exhale, try to take your body to fold to the right, and at the same time pull the left elbow back. If you're doing this right, you'll get a stretch in the front of the left hip, maybe through the inner leg as well, and up through the left side of the stomach. Take one more breath and see if you can fold a little further as you breathe out. Then bring the body back up, reach to the hands, look up if it feels okay, and then step the left foot forward and hands in front of the heart. Now, second side, step your right foot back. So it's about a leg distance between the feet, not quite as long as a lunge. Keep the left arm reaching down, the right arm reaching up. And again, keep the shoulders away from the ears. Try to feel like you're lifting away from the left hand, not leaning onto it. And see if you can pull the front ribs in a little bit, especially if you know you tend to arch your back. Take one more breath here. Maybe turning the shoulders a little further. Keep the legs strong, kneecaps pulled up. Then take your hands gently down next to the left foot, bend the knee if necessary, and just shuffle your right foot out to the side so the heels are hip width apart. Take your left hand onto the hips, check that they're fairly level, and then just start to straighten the left leg to where you feel comfortable. Make sure that you're still maintaining a sense of length in the front of the body. So the collarbone bones are moving towards the foot, not necessarily the head to the shin. Give yourself one more breath here, making sure that you're anchored through both feet. And after you exhale, take the left hand back to the hips, check that they're still fairly level, and take your right hand either to the shin or the foot, and turning to your left, release the left arm to help turn the shoulders a little further. So again, try to feel like you're lifting away from the lower arm, the right hand, and reaching up to the left. And try to keep the head centered in line with the hips. Exhale one more breath here. And then either hands to hips, hands to chest or arms forward. See if you can stand without bending the front knee, which is also trickier than it looks. Then hold your right wrist, and as you breathe out, take the hands to your left. And try and press down through the right heel, but also up and out to the right palm. See if you can pull the right elbow a little further back. Roll the right hip forward as you lift the right side of the rib cage. Just last breath here. After breathing out, bring the body back up. Stretch high to the hands, looking up if it feels okay. And then step your right foot forward and hands in front of the heart. Pause there for a breath or two. Let the shoulders gently drop down. And after breathing out, turn sideways along your mat. Sink down into your hips. And try to have the knees and the hips at the same height. Then bring the backs of the hands against the inner knees. Maybe drop a little lower. And take one more breath here. As you breathe in, reach the arms up high, stretching up to the fingers. Then take your right elbow to your knee and your left arm up and over past your head. See if you can move into a side stretch. As you breathe in, bring the body back up, reaching through to both hands. The legs stay steady the whole time. Then take left elbow down and right arm up and over past your head, lengthening right side. Bring the body back up, come through to the center. And this time either repeat or see if you can take both arms to the right, reaching out into the hands. Again, bring the body back up as you take a breath in. And then see if you can take both arms to your left and lengthen through right side. Come back up as you breathe in, moving smoothly. And then take the hands gently down and spin the heels wide. Pause here for a couple of breaths. Make sure the kneecaps are pulled up. And either choose to stay here, or if you're comfortable, walk the hands back in line with the feet. And maybe take the top or back of the head to the floor. Keep the legs straight before you worry about going further forward. Just one more breath here. And after you breathe out, just bring the hands under the shoulders once more. Lift the collarbones, arching the spine. And bring the chin gently up as you breathe out. Then turn your feet out about 45 degrees. And with weight on the hands, just see if you can slide your feet wider, just to where you feel comfortable. If it's very easy for you, you can lower to the elbows. Take one more breath here, a deep stretch for the inner legs. And then pressing through the elbows or the hands, just heel and toe the feet together. Bring your feet together. And sink down onto the heels. Then bring the hands to the heart. Stay there or lift the hips just a few centimetres so the thighs have to work. And then see if you can straighten all the way up. Reach up to the fingers. And lower the arms gently down. Give your shoulders a little roll. And then standing on your right foot, come into into Garudasana. So left leg over right. Hook the toes under the calf. If you can't get there, just do your best approximation. Then open the arms out wide and take right arm over left. If you can take the full variation, do so with left fingers against right palm. Otherwise, just give yourself a hug and lift the elbows. Take one more breath here, maybe sinking the hips a little deeper. And after you exhale, unravel the arms and bring the left foot either to the calf or the inner thigh. Now moving into Vrksasana tree posture. Stretch up into the fingers as you inhale. And then open the arms out to about 45 degrees and try and turn the palms to face back. Maybe bring thumb and first finger to touch in Jnana Mudra. As you take one last breath here, stretch to the fingers and pull the left knee back. Then release the arms and the left foot and swap to the second side. Grip the left toes, keep a steady gazing point. Take right leg over left and hook the toes if you can. Then open the arms and take left arm over right. And again, if you can't get the full position with the hands, thumbs pointing up, you can just give your arms a wrap around to hold opposite shoulders. If you're in the full position, sink the hips and lift the elbows. Taking one more smooth breath here. And after breathing out, unravel arms and legs. Either place your right foot against the calf or the inner thigh, but not against the knee. Once the leg's in place, reach your arms up high, stretching through from the left foot to the hands, and then open the arms out to about 45 degrees. Roll the shoulders down and back. Pull the right knee back. And as you take your last breath here, stretch through the crown of the head and out to the fingers. And then gently lower the arms and the right foot. Give your knees a shake and step back to the front of your mat. With your feet together, gently breathe out. Then bring the backs of the hands together. Reach high, maybe raising the chin and take a breath in. And then fold the body smoothly forward and exhale. Lifting the collarbones, take a breath in. And then with hands to the mat, step back to down dog and exhale once you're there. You might like to rest here or in child's pose, otherwise move forward to plank. And then smoothly lower down to knees or stomach or push up. Remember, it's not a race. Take your version of upward facing dog. Maybe just lift chest and hands whilst lying on the stomach. And then press back into downward facing dog and exhale once you're there. Take a breath in down dog, and then without moving your hands, simultaneously lower your elbows to the mat. Take a smooth breath in here, pressing the chest towards the feet, and then simultaneously straighten the arms. Again, take a breath in. Lift up through the tailbone and lower onto the elbows at the same time. The hands stay steady. Again, take a breath in. And as you exhale, again, straighten both arms at the same time. And last round of that, take another breath in, lengthening hands to hips, then lower gently onto the elbows. Keep pressing the chest to the toes. Take another breath in, and as you exhale, again return to down face dog. One more breath here. Relax the face, let the head just hang down. And then lower onto your knees. And sit back onto your feet. So you want the toes tucked under here so that you're stretching the soles of the feet. And we'll take a little shoulder stretch whilst we're here. Reach the right arm up, take the left arm down, and see if you can bind your hands behind the back. Keep the face relaxed. Remember, you can use a strap or a piece of clothing or a towel. There's a bit of an arm extender here if you struggle to get the bind. Give yourself one more breath here. If you've got a good bind, pull the hands gently against each other. And after you exhale, release the hands, press the palms wide for a breath or two, pulling your shoulders down. And then do the same thing on the other side. So take the left arm up, the right arm down, and see if you can bind your hands once more. Remembering that this will be the tight side for most people, but there are exceptions. Try to keep the weight pressing back through the heels. So you're still stretching the feet. And if you're comfortable in the bind, press the head back into the left forearm. Take one more breath here. Make sure that there's no unnecessary tension in the face or the shoulders. And then gently release the arms. Press your palms wide, pull the shoulders down, pull the fingers back. And then gently releasing. You can untuck the toes. You might like to just sit back for a couple of breaths. And then crossing your ankles. Sit back, stretch the left leg out in front and bend your right leg out to the side. Now remember, if you have sensitive knees, you're better to do this either with the right leg stretched out straight, about 90 degrees between the thighs, or maybe with your right foot against the inner left knee. Otherwise, bring the heel up close to the hips. Turn to face your left foot and then reach forward with your right hand just to where you can comfortably reach without collapsing and rounding the back. If you're more supple, you might be able to take hold of the heel and then maybe bring the ribs to the left thigh. But remember, you want to feel like you're stretching all the way from the base of the spine right out through the crown of the head, not losing the length in the front of the torso. Give yourself one or two more slow breaths here. And after your next exhalation, just gently sit back up. Reach the arms high, stretching up to your fingertips. And then moving into Ardha Matsyendrasana 2, twist to your left, taking right hand outside the left knee, and left hand to the floor behind you with the spine upright. Either stay there or bring the left arm to bind to the inner right thigh, and maybe take the right hand to the outer left heel. And as you twist and look over the left shoulder, lift your left ear. Give yourself 1 or 2 more calm breaths here. Lengthen with each in-breath and soften into the twist with each out-breath. And after your next calm out-breath, unravel from your twist. Stretch up high to the hands. Interlacing fingers press up through the palms. Raise the chin, stretch the throat as you breathe in, pulling the elbows back. And then lower the hands down. Stretch your right leg out in front. Just rest in Dandasana for a breath or two, rolling your shoulders back. Or if you're comfortable, press through palms or fists and see if you can pick up the hips. We'll keep the feet down. And then lowering all the way down. Keep your right leg where it is and take the left leg out to the side. Again, you can have the foot ideally up towards the hips, but left foot around right knee or out to the side with the legs straight is also fine. Once your body's facing the foot, reach forward with your left hand to where you can comfortably reach. And then make sure that you remain facing forward with the shoulders level and perhaps go further over the right leg. Make sure you're still breathing steadily through the nose. And as we move deeper into these seated postures, your breath should be able to slow down further. Keep the shoulders moving wide, the tailbone moving back. And take 1 more smooth breath here. Remember to keep the back straight. After breathing out, gently sit back up, reach the arms high, and take a twist to your right. So left hand outside right knee with the body upright is plenty. Right hand just a little behind you supports the spine, but if you're comfortable, the right hand can bind to the inner left thigh and left hand to outer right heel. And again, as you look over the right shoulder, just keep the right ear a little bit raised. Keep gently using the arms to lengthen the spine and deepen the twist. Last breath here. Maybe turning a little further. And then looking forwards. Unravel. Reach your arms up high, stretching to the fingers, and then take the opposite interlace as you press up through the palms. It'll be the side that feels a little strange. Raise the chin, pull the elbows back. 1 more breath in there, and then bring the arms down and stretch your left leg out in front. And again, you can just stay there in Dandasana, rolling the shoulders back, or you can pick up the hips if you'd like. Take 1 more breath here, just keeping the feet down for today. And then gently lower. And taking your hands back further behind you now, moving into Pavottanasana. Remember, if your back's a bit sensitive, you can bend your knees here. And if your wrists are sensitive, you can be on the fists or the elbows. It might be enough just to lift the collarbones, but ideally, lift the hips up and make a straight line from the knees to the shoulders. If your neck is sensitive, stay looking forward past the knees. Otherwise, look straight up. And press the shoulders towards the hips. Keep the elbows unlocked. And take 1 more breath here. After breathing out, gently lower your body down. Bring the legs in towards the body. To begin with, lift the collarbones. And then rock back, picking up the feet. And once you've found your balance point, close your eyes. See if you can hold that balance point without any visual reference. Take 1 more breath here. And after breathing out, gently bring your feet to the mat. And those with sensitive knees or who'd like to do so, take Tarasana. So the feet are about 40 or 50 centimetres in front of the hips. If you would like to take Baddha Konasana where the hips and heels are together, you can do that as well. So there's slightly different stretches for the hips. I'm going to take Tarasana today just because that's a little while since I've done it. Whichever option you choose, try to feel like you're pulling the rib cage forward and trying to straighten or even slightly arch the lower back. And you can stay upright, just pulling the knees wide. Or if you're comfortable, you can start to bring the body forward. I like to give the hips a little shuffle just to free up the sit bones. And in Tarasana, you can press the elbows into the inner knees to take the knees a little wider. And then we're starting to bring the stomach towards the floor. So it's not so much head down, as again trying to feel like the back is quite straight or almost feeling like it's slightly arched. Wherever you are, just give yourself 1 or 2 more slow breaths. Make sure, again, that the face is relaxed. You can keep the eyes closed or half closed if you're comfortable. And after your next calm exhalation, just gently bring the body back up once more. Pick up the knees, wrap your arms around the shins, lift the collarbones. Take 1 more breath. Gently squeeze the knees outwards against the arms. And after you exhale, just make your way to lying down on your stomach. And start with your feet out about mat width apart. Rest the head on the hands and give your hips a gentle rock from side to side. Then bringing your feet not wider than the hips. Take the arms forward with the thumbs pointing up. And as you breathe in, raise left arm and right leg. And lower down as you breathe out. Then raise right arm and left leg as you breathe in. And lower and breathe out. Left arm, right leg, breathing in. And lower and exhale. And right arm, left leg. And lower and exhale. Last round, raise left arm and right leg, breathing in. And lower as you breathe out. Then right arm, left leg. Keep reaching to fingers and toes. And gently lower down. And again, turn your head to one side, ideally the least comfortable side. You can either stay still or you can give the hips a rock side to side. Try to feel like you're breathing into the lower lungs and you'll feel the breath pressing towards the sacrum and the kidneys, helping to release the back. From here, keep reaching out to your toes. Squeeze the elbows in and lift the chest. Then come into half cobra on the elbows. Sometimes this is called sphinx posture, but of course there were no sphinxes in ancient India. To pull the shoulders back, the chest forward. Stay looking down between the fingertips rather than squashing the back of the neck. Make sure that the lower belly remains in contact with the mat here. So you're trying to bring the movement more into the middle spine than down in the lower back. Keep reaching to the toes, pull the shoulders back and the chest forward. Taking 1 more breath here. And then gently lower the body to the mat. And again, just rest your head on the back of the hands. Take a couple of breaths there. And if your back's sensitive at all, maybe just stay lifting chest and hands with the elbows squeezed in, or repeat half cobra. If you're comfortable to go further, lift the chest. And this time take your hands down next to the shoulders. Keep reaching to the toes and lift to Bhujangasana proper. Not important for the arms to be straight. It is important that the shoulders stay down and back so we're not letting the shoulders shrug. And again, try to feel like you're pulling the chest forwards a little bit. Creating that sense of length in the front of the body. Keep the face relaxed. Just a steady gazing point a little in front of the hands. Take 1 more breath in here. If you're comfortable, you can inhale to the chest and hold for a moment. And roll the spine down. And have a rest. Again, you can remain still, just breathing slowly and deeply to the belly, or you can rock the hips side to side if you'd like. When you're ready, lift up onto the elbows again, but then with toes tucked under, pick up the hips, still on the knees at this point, and take a forearm kneeling plank. Either choose to stay there or pick up the knees into full forearm plank. Take one more smooth breath here. Try to keep the shoulders a little bit higher than the hips. And after breathing out, lower down and roll over onto your back. And rest with your feet about mat width apart, let the knees drop together and place your hands on the lower belly. Take a couple of deep abdominal breaths, just letting the body settle against the mat. And after breathing out once more, stretch your left leg out along the mat. Hug the right knee into the body. You might like to make little circles or rock it side to side. And you can stay there if you'd like. If you're okay to do stronger stomach work, come into a half sit-up position, still keeping the left calf on the mat. If you're a little more open in the hamstrings, you can take the right hand maybe just to the calf or the ankle, ideally to the foot, and see if you can bring the right leg a little closer to the body. But again, the left calf stays down. Maybe sit up a little bit higher and pull the leg a little tighter to the body as you take one more breath. And then gently lie back down. Stretch the right leg out and hug the left leg to the body. And again, you can take a little rock side to side or a little circle for the knee if that feels good. You can stay here resting, or you can lift the head and shoulders off the mat. Staying there is still fine. If you want to go further and did first side, start to straighten the left leg and pull it a little more closely to the body. Keep the chin to the throat here so you're strengthening the muscles of the neck. Taking one more breath here, maybe sit up a little higher, maybe pull the leg more tightly to the body. And then gently release and lower down. Give the hips a shuffle side to side. Stretch out to your fingertips. And then bring your arms down by your sides with the palms facing up. Arms about 30 degrees away from the body, or if you prefer, you can rest the hands on the lower belly. And those who prefer to sit for the remainder of the practice can do so as well, just whatever's comfortable for you. So take a few moments to settle the body, making sure it feels comfortable and symmetrical. With closed eyes, just tune into the sound and the rhythm of your breath. Allow each calm exhalation just to soften the body a little further. We'll take a couple of minutes of the prana square, samavriti. We'll start us off with a 5-second count. So focusing into either the heart space or the eyebrow center, exhale all the way. And then smoothly but deeply breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in and count to yourself now. That 5-second rhythm is a good starting place for most people. If it feels a little uncomfortable, you might try dropping back to 4 seconds per phase. If you know you have a longer breath cycle, you can extend the rhythm. But just make sure that the 4 parts of the breath are even, balanced,
and that the in and out breath feels smooth and calm from beginning to end. If you start to feel stressed or anxious, you can just return to completely relaxed breathing. Otherwise, just see if you can stay with the prana square for another minute or so, balancing all 4 phases of the breath cycle in a rhythm that's appropriate for you. Just finish the cycle of Samavritti that you're on, completing it in your own time. And once finished without rushing, just allow your breath to settle back to its own relaxed rhythm. Keep your mind following the rise and fall of the breath, but without the need to get involved. Just observing, watching. No judgment, no analysis. And for the last couple of minutes, just let the body rest against the mat. The breath rest quietly at the abdominal center, and the mind rest on the quiet rhythm of the breath. When your attention drifts off, just without any sense of frustration, come back to observing your breath again and again. And let body, breath and mind return to stillness. Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvata Sharike Sharanye Triambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. So remain resting as long as you'd like. Remember, everything you did earlier in the practice was simply preparation for shavasana. When you're ready to move, do so slowly and gently, reconnecting first with the breath, then with the movement of body. When you're ready, make your way slowly to seated and just rest in a comfortable seated position with your eyes closed for a few breaths. Take a few moments of stillness there, just to be aware of how you are after the practice in body, mind and heart. And once you leave your practice space, see if you can stay connected to the quiet mind of shavasana. Thank you once again for allowing me to share the practice with you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Namaste.